Today I'm here to talk more about the design thinking as a concept and the leadership philosophy. So it is a merger of design thinking and a leadership philosophy that is currently shaping the entire world, different industries, different organizations, and it has become very important for leaders to understand the concept of design thinking and link it to their leadership styles in the organization. So today we will talk about a lot on these aspects, approaches, and how a leadership can be evolved in today's scenarios. So let me tell you more about what I do today as a president at Ecozen Solutions. So Ecozen Solutions is a global organization and have developed innovative solutions which are making impact globally. Currently we have presence in more than 10 countries in Africa, Southeast Asia, as well as India. We practice design thinking and leadership in our corporate culture, and we develop many innovative solutions using these design thinking principles. I have almost 15 years of experience, work with different segments, practicing how to solve problems, how to develop creativity in the organization, how to build a great organizations globally. So today, if we look at the business scenarios, millennial and Generation Z employees, they want something more from the bosses or their leaders. So today, leadership has completely changed, and the change is happening towards coaching, training, and nurturing and empowering employees so that leaders can bring a lot out of them. Having said that, the best way to do this is by learning and using design thinking principles. So, in my today's talk, we will discuss more about design thinking and leadership philosophy. At the same time, in my presentation, we will talk about the customer-centric approach and then the leadership philosophy. So design thinking educate a lot us to engage with end users by listening to them, by brainstorming their problem statements, and after listening and brainstorming, looking for some solutions to them by collaborative approach. In my today's talk, we will talk about one such interesting philosophy that will help leaders to take their organization to the next level, and towards end we will also see there are different ways, and we will very specifically talk about 5 ways of design thinking and leadership approach. Now design thinking traditionally have standard steps into it: empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. These steps are very important in the customer experience and making the most impactful improvements. But at its core, the design thinking is about collaboration, and that's something all leaders can relate to. Now, idea here is to bring together different unique perspective from your organizations, bring that collaborative brainstorming in the organization and extract maximum out of it to look for optimal solutions. So at this stage, it is very important for a leader to ask a question that how do you synchronize multiple departments that have varied goals and harmonize their perspective on the business problems at hand. Now this is very important for a leader to synchronize all these activities and delegate tasks in a way that makes the most of each team member's strength while inviting them to tap into their innate creativity. And I have seen many startups, many organizations in today's business scenario when there are n number of challenges, they miss this important point to bring collaborative design approach. And as a leader, my suggestion is one should definitely think about it and practice on this collaborative design thinking approach. Having said that, there are 5 important principles or ways where leaders can excel this approach and bring maximum from the organizations. So next few minutes, we will talk about those 5 approaches. And as a leader, if you think about this, do you really practice it in the organization? It will give you a lot of clarity in terms of how you can use this design thinking approach to develop a leadership philosophy in the organization and bring interesting solutions to the organization. The first very important thing is put customer first, knowing profits will follow. Now, one of the important design thinking which has such a powerful business impact, and as a leader one should practice this, is to put customers first and the profits will follow. Now it is very tough for a bottom line to focus on such kind of scenarios, but as a leader, using these design thinking principles and harnessing the power of design thinking, if you realize that focusing on the customer is the best way to maximize profit. So let me tell you the second interesting way of design thinking for leaders where they can learn a lot from it, and it is drive more productive collaboration. So we talked about collaborative design thinking, but here it is very important to understand how to drive a productive collaboration. Now a big part of design thinking is creating stronger and more creative collaboration. Now a leader who understands how design thinking works and why it adds value will assign company challenges to diverse group of employees. Now whether you are building a new app or designing a new product or addressing a customer service problems, now tapping to a collaborative approach will bring a different perspective to all these opportunities, and it will help you to tap the collective knowledge of your best people, which will propel to the innovation. So the next important aspect in this process where leader can practice it is to listen up. Now a design minded leader understands the value of letting others speak, and they recognize that the great ideas come from everywhere, that encouraging team autonomy and sharing will also improve products and services. Now design thinking can help transform top to down corporate culture into an environment where everyone feels comfortable contributing. So at Ecozen Solutions we practice this very actively. When we used to face a lot of challenges on a service side, there were a lot of customer complaints. It is not only a leadership team which was involved into various ideas, but we involved people or employees who are actually talking to our customers. These are our service champions and sales champions, because these are the right people who can bring a lot of ideas. So at one site, when there were a lot of brainstorming was happening in terms of product improvements and product development, these sales and service champions brought a lot of value into the organization. And we realized that if we follow this approach where as a leader, if we allow others to speak up in the entire organization, we can bring a tremendous value in the organization. And after allowing our service champions who actually work on the field, these champions came back with a lot of technical solutions which helped us to change the entire product architecture in the organization. As a leader, if you practice this important principle of design thinking, it will transform the entire organization top to down. It will build a very interesting culture in the organization, and it will allow all the employees to bring a lot of ideas and shape up the organization to the next level. Now the next very important aspect a leader should practice is to innovate and iterate. Now we follow this in the organization. Now design thinking provides you with a toolbox full of strategies to narrow down all your ideas, test them rapidly at a low cost, and iterate using customer feedback. We wanted to develop a mobile app to run this technology and innovation. We were not aware about what features we need in the prototyping stage and how to develop this mobile app so that customer convenience can be achieved. So we developed two types of prototypes in the organization. One we call this as a physical prototype, and one we call this as a conversational prototype, because we wanted to understand a feedback from a global audience. What we did very quickly is we developed a framework of this app on a very interesting concept of notepad. So we use those sticky notes in the organization, and on different pages we developed different frames of the app, different screens of the app. Now because we are currently located in India, we did physical prototypes with some customers and by showing them what will be the content of the app, and we got the feedback. However, with the global audience, we use the online platform, we did conversational prototypes, and using again the same sticky notes, we displayed them what will be the content of the app and what is their level of convenience. So we got this diverse feedback across the globe, and this was very quick, low cost, and we got very interesting customer feedback onto it. And the end result was we developed a very innovative app which is currently helping the audience globally to run this technology. So this design thinking approach brings you a lot of these opportunities because it has toolbox full of strategies which narrow down everything for you as a leader, and if you practice it effectively, you can innovate and iterate various ideas as quick as possible and at the low cost. The next approach in design thinking where leader can practice it is to push your people to excel. Now, in order to do the best work in the organizations, nowadays employees need to be empowered. Now, an effective boss will encourage employees to challenge assumptions and to do things differently. However, design thinking teaches to the leaders that how to give that power to their people so that the entire company reaps awards and rewards as well. So, for example, in the sales department or in the organization, which is a backbone of any organization, we try to understand what are the reasons of a particular salesperson is performing and what are the reasons of a salesperson is not performing. Now we try to understand, we probe it at a very deep level. It gives as a leader an opportunity to empower those employees by giving them ideas, giving things differently. So we say in our organization that fail fast, learn fast, and grow fast. So this is a kind of philosophy we follow in the organization. So as a leader, if you push your employees to excel by empowering them and guiding them to think differently, it can give n number of results throughout the organization. So as a leader, if you practice these 5 principles of design thinking, where you put your customers first and the profit will follow, then you develop listen up is another approach. At the same time, you push your employees to excel, innovate and iterate. If you follow all these 5 principles in the organization, you can bring a lot of value not only from the employees but from your customers. It will help you to iterate and prototype as fast as possible at the low cost, and this will help the entire organization to grow. Not only that, you can bring a lot of value to the world as well. So the value of good design is good leadership. So when design thinking becomes a company-wide priority and the responsibility of every individual is contributed into it, when large teams are educated on the principles of design thinking, then that organization can achieve a lot and a massive growth is possible. So this is where I'm ending my session on how a leader can shape a leadership approach in the organization using various principles of design thinking here. And I'm sure that if you follow this approach, a massive growth of the organization is absolutely possible. I would like to say thanks to DLC for giving me an opportunity to come here and share my experience and ideas on design thinking and a leadership philosophy. Thank you so much, and looking forward to a great learning from DLC community. Thank you.